More Americans are blaming President Trump and Republicans in Congress than Democrats for the current government shutdown.
It's one thing for Congress to debate policy. It's another when they're literally being paid not to work. As the shutdown drags on, even members of the president's own party are voicing frustration. A congressman now says Speaker Johnson has his colleagues on a paid vacation, while millions of Americans brace for the real-world impact of Washington's gridlock. So who's really feeling the pain, and who's ducking responsibility? Before we dive in, comment where you're watching from and don't forget to like and subscribe.
The Affordable Care Act open enrollment opens tomorrow, and millions of Americans are going to see dramatically higher premiums because enhanced tax credits are going to expire. Meanwhile, President Trump is calling on the Senate to get rid of the filibuster, which would allow Republicans to reopen the government. The president made the request via a very long social media post last night. The filibuster, of course, is a long-standing tactic in the Senate that blocks or delays votes on a bill. 60 votes are required to get past that filibuster. Earlier this month, Majority Leader John Thune dismissed the idea of changing the filibuster to end the shutdown, adding that the White House had not pressured him on the issue. The Senate adjourned yesterday, and it's not scheduled to meet again until Monday. So how's everything breaking down on the shutdown? Well, not good for Republicans, as we've been saying over the past week. More Americans are blaming President Trump and Republicans in Congress than Democrats for the current government shutdown. According to the latest Washington Post ABC News Ipsos poll, 45% blame the president and the Republicans. Only 33% blame the Democrats. Blame does fall largely among partisan lines, but this is important. Among independents, 46% blame Republicans. Only half of that blame the Democrats. The poll also revealed 3/4 of American adults say they're very or somewhat concerned about the shutdown. So Jonathan, this isn't really a surprise. I mean, isn't it a surprise? I'm saying this isn't a surprise, not just us, but to the White House. Like, as you've been reporting, they've been wanting the president to get back from his important trips overseas, but wanted him to get back and start focusing on this and do a deal with Democrats. They won't say that publicly, but Republicans want a deal done with Democrats, because right now, instead of, us talking about crime, we're talking about health care. And Republicans are going to lose on that every day.
Yeah, anxieties within the West Wing behind closed doors have been rising over the last week or two, to be sure. They can read the polls. This is the latest one that shows that most people in this country blame Republicans. They blame the president. The GOP, of course, controls all three branches of government. The real world impact of the shutdown growing by the day. November 1st. That's tomorrow. That's the snap deadline. So people are going to feel that even further. And the president, by his own sort of admission, has been focused on other things. And for a while there was a deliberate strategy. But I am told now that he is back, and perhaps that very lengthy social media post last night is his first step back into the negotiating foray.
Right.
We will see if he takes a more active role. Congressman, you're here. You can be here in part because Speaker Johnson won't let you do your job. The House, of course, has been out now for about a month. So talk to us about, we know there's some growing impatience within the Republicans. Some of them do want to come back and get to work. Give us the latest as to where things stand from your perspective.
Well, Speaker Johnson has us on a paid vacation. I'm not taking a paycheck, but most of my colleagues are. And so we're not there to negotiate. And as you said, ultimately, this is a negotiation. Now, what Democrats have put on the table is something that's good for everybody in America. Yes, our constituents need to be able to afford health care. But guess what? Marjorie Taylor Greene's family does too. And that's why one of the most conservative Republicans in all of the world, let alone Congress, has come out and blamed her fellow Republicans for this shutdown and said, let's get back to work. Let's be able to afford health care. It's not a lot to ask.
Yeah, the first time I ran for Congress, I actually ran against taxes. And now Bill Clinton had raised taxes along with Democrats the year before, but there had been a series of property tax assessments that had just absolutely blown away voters in my district. Everybody's thinking taxes. And I just ran an ad, said tax killer, had my picture. That was it. Boom. Made all the difference in the world. And that's because people sort of blur. If my taxes are going up, it doesn't matter what level my taxes are going up on. I'm voting for the guy who wants to cut taxes. Well, there are a couple polls that are out today out of New Jersey and Virginia. And what do they prove? They prove that it doesn't matter that the government shutdown is a federal issue. It is impacting state races, and it's hurting the Republicans. Take a look at these two polls from Virginia and New Jersey, races that we're going to see next week. And TJ, I'll take either one of them right now, baby. There's the Virginia governor's race. This race was too close for comfort for Democrats not so long ago. We had a Washington Post poll that had Abigail Spanberger up by 12 points last week. Now she's up by 10 points in that race. Of course, not hard to figure out why with all the federal employees that live in Northern Virginia. Let's go to New Jersey. In New Jersey, a race that has been way too close to call. Mikey Sherrill has opened up an 8-point lead, according to the latest Q poll. And again, so much of that also has to be about the government shutdown. And Susan Page, Donald Trump bragging that he had killed a tunnel project that would help New Jersey commuters get to work faster. Talk about, well, first of all, the fact that independents are really breaking hard against Republicans right now on the shutdown, and also these two polls that show momentum and the wind at Democrats' back right now, in large part because of the shutdown.
Yeah. Now, Democrats have figured they were going to win Virginia, the Virginia governorship. The New Jersey race, closer. You know how long it's been since one party has held the New Jersey governorship for a third consecutive term? It's been 6 decades. This will be a break with history, and there is, in fact, a credible Republican candidate there. So a victory for Democrats in New Jersey, and especially a big victory, an 8-point victory, would be something that sends a message, I think, about kind of the mood not only in New Jersey, but some signal about how voters are feeling in other places too. And we'll see. I mean, we figure the Democrats going to win in New York, and we think that the referendum in California is going to pass easily. New Jersey is kind of the closest race we've got next Tuesday to watch, to see for kind of signals for what's happening nationally.
And Joe, let me just pick up on what you're saying, the Gateway Tunnel project, killing it. I do sort of wonder if Trump views these races as kind of extortion exercises. And by that I mean, he's being very openly friendly to Republican governors, passing FEMA aid for their states, not for blue states. Obviously, he's killing projects in blue states, Russ Vought is. And I wonder if they think, well, maybe voters will reward us by saying, hey, uncle, we'll elect Republicans so you could turn the spigots back on. Clearly, if these polls are to be believed, that's not the case. Independents specifically are appalled by the actions the administration has taken in terms of cutting off projects and then, of course, firing federal employees. And I think sort of in general, the direction they're taking on a host of fronts. And so I do wonder if the White House kind of miscalculated the politics here, or if it's just a case where if you're a hammer, in this case Donald Trump, everything looks like a nail and you just hammer away.
Well, and voters, when they go into voting booths, I have found, and I'm sure the congressman's also found, they don't play three-dimensional chess. They say, what's my situation like? Am I better off now than I was a couple of years ago? How's my family going to be better off 2 years from now? And if I'm commuting and it takes me an hour and a half to get from Jersey into the city and an hour and a half to get back home at night, that's 3 hours I'm away from my family. If there's a project that's going to give me more time with my family, more time with my friends, more time in my community in New Jersey, and Donald Trump is openly bragging about killing that project, they're not going to be like Sherlock. They're not going to be like talking 1,000 miles an hour going, well, actually, maybe we should. No, they're just going to say, you know what? My life's tough enough. And this joker is killing this project that was going to help me spend more time at home, keep me out of the car commuting, keep me off the train commuting, keep me, make my life a little bit easier. And for political gamesmanship, he's decided to kill it because he's thinking he's getting the best of Chuck Schumer. No, he's not getting the best of Chuck Schumer. He's getting the best of me and my family.
He's screwing a lot of Americans. And the other thing that matters in both of these races is when Americans are hurting, when they see Washington as totally dysfunctional, when there are two different Americas, you know, the White House supported billionaire class and then working people across America who can't even afford to rent a home, to buy a home. One of the things that
their health insurance,
one of the things in a crisis like that Americans are looking for is leadership. And while everything you're saying about these races is right in the way that they're being federalized and what's happening in Washington matters in these gubernatorial races, let's not take anything away from just what extraordinary leaders Abigail Spanberger and Mikey Sherrill are. These are two veterans who represent a new generation of leadership in the Democratic Party. People who are willing to break with the status quo, not just do what the party leaders say in Washington. And that is the kind of forward-looking leadership that Americans want and need right now.
You know, Willie, they have been independent. Mikey Sherrill has not run a great race. No. Donald Trump is, you know, she should have a picture of Donald Trump up in her governor's office if she wins, because big assist. Like he's just given her the alley-oop on this with the tunnel, the government shutdown, and everything. I mean, Marie Antoinette's ballroom. I'm serious. All those things add up in the aggregate when people go. They don't think the way Washington pundits think, or congressmen or senators think. They just think things are a mess. You look at the right track, wrong track. Whoa. I'd hate to be the party that's running Washington, D.C. right now.
And president's numbers, as we showed yesterday on the economy, deep underwater. They see all that. That's how they feel about how the president's running their economic lives. But you're right. This race, I can say as a New Jersey native, has been much, much closer than was comfortable for Democrats. It has gotten a little more purple in New Jersey in recent years. Certainly that presidential election last time around was closer than Democrats wanted it to be. But it does look like Mikey Sherrill's opened up a little space. I'm curious for you, though, Congressman, just sort of big picture. You just touched on some of the issues at the center of these two races, but then looking ahead to the midterm elections, just a clear message from Democrats about what's happening in the country right now, whether you want to talk about the expiration of these subsidies for the Affordable Care Act, taking away people's health care with the so-called big, beautiful bill, hospitals closing in urban and rural parts of the country, red and blue. It just frankly being too expensive to live in this country. As you see it right now, what is the most effective message for Democrats in this moment?
The Democrats are here to help working people in America, and Republicans are here to protect the billionaire class. And
what this clip lays bare is something deeper than partisan bickering. It's a crisis of leadership. When lawmakers are sent home while essential services stall and families face rising costs, it's not just dysfunction, it's dereliction of duty. Voters see it, and polls show they're assigning blame accordingly. The Congressman's paid vacation line lands because it taps into a broader anger, the sense that Washington's political games come at the expense of ordinary people. Whether you call it accountability or simple decency, Americans are demanding both. And come election season, they'll remember who chose comfort over country. So what do you think? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more breakdowns like this.